Above, while others developed chronic disease and die much earlier, can the foods you eat actually slow the biology of aging? Let me give you 6 foods that actually can help tackle those hallmarks of aging. Number 1. Hi, I'm Dr. William Lee, physician, scientist, a New York Times best-selling author of the books Eat to Beat Disease and Eat to Beat Your Diet. Right now, there's growing interest in high-tech approaches to longevity, genetic testing, experimental therapies, longevity, biohacks, and all kinds of new devices and blood tests and wearables. And while the science behind these approaches is fascinating, what if some of the most powerful influences on how we age are actually much simpler, less expensive, and available to everyone? In my own family, for example, my great-uncle lived to 104 years old. Okay, very intact and independently. And one habit maintained every day was drinking green tea and going for a morning walk. Now, of course, no single food or daily workout determines how long one lives, but it does raise an interesting question. Can everyday foods influence the biology of aging? And that's what this video is all about and what I want to explore with you today. Why are scientists studying aging? Well, it's really interesting because did you know that there are more people living past age of 100 today than at any time in human history? In other words, longevity is already happening. But scientists are trying to understand why some people maintain their health well into the later decades, 80s and 90s and above, while others develop chronic disease and die much earlier. Well, it turns out that there are a set of biological processes that help to explain what's happening inside the body as we age. And this has been given a name. It's called the hallmarks of aging. And they include things like damage accumulating in our DNA as we age, changes in how our cells produce energy through power plants called mitochondria, increased inflammation as we're in our aging. In fact, it's called inflammaging mitochondria, gradual decline in the body's ability to repair and regenerate cells, and a number of other hallmarks as well. In other words, aging reflects gradual decline and changes in systems that normally defend and maintain our health. But here's the encouraging part. Many of these systems, these hallmarks, are actually quite resilient. Our health defenses are very resilient, and the hallmarks can actually be tackled. And by the way, these signals can come from our environment, including our diet, the food that we eat. So that's one of the things I want to talk about because enough. The things I've always found fascinating is how food provides much more than nourishment. In other words, calories, energy, foods provide us biological signals. Every time we eat something, those signals, they come from bioactives, natural chemicals found in foods. I call it Mother Nature's pharmacy with an F. Pharmacy, not a PH. Mother Nature's pharmacy that deliver those signals that influence our cells inside our body. And that can actually influence our metabolism, make it better, influence our circulation so we have better blood flow, influence our good health, so our gut microbiome is healthier as well. And many of those food bioactives can calm inflammation. Food even influences how our cells respond to stress. So when we're talking about healthy aging, I think it's more helpful to talk about specific foods and of everyday habits rather than sort offhand wavy general nutrition advice. Eat plant-based foods, eat Thurenbo, I think it's helpful to get really specific. So one of the things that I want to do is to flip the script a little bit. Instead of thinking about longevity through biohacking or high-tech solutions, I think it's worth asking some practical questions about which foods can we eat to support the E-systems that protect our cells and our organs as we age, right? Makes a lot of sense. How do we get longer, healthier with simple solutions? After that, we can actually go for the more complex ones. But how do we keep it simple? So, let me give you 6 foods that I like to put into my own life that are regular of my diet that actually can help tackle those hallmarks of aging. Are you ready? Let's go. Number 1, green tea. As I mentioned earlier, my great uncle drank green tea every day and he lived 140 years old. What does green tea contain? It contains polyphenols, collagens, and these collagens help cells defend themselves against oxidative stress. This is stress that can damage DNA and actually contributes to fast aging. Clinical studies show that drinking 3 to 4 cups of green tea per day. All right? Now, my great uncle probably drank 10 cups of green tea a day. But the clinical studies show even 3 to 4 cups a day can provide meaningful health benefits, including lowering the risk of many chronic diseases, including cancer. Now, in my own routine, I like to sip green tea usually later in the day. I find it very, very relaxing. So, that combined effect, in addition to helping to protect my cells, I think is actually something that I benefit from. Getting better rest actually allows my body to kind of restore itself. And I want to give you a little pro tip. If you want to maximize the benefits of green tea polyphenols, here's what I want you to try. Try matcha. Matcha tea is made by taking tea leaves and grinding thin tea leaf into a powder. So, you get all the polyphenols, and not just the ones that are actually steeped from soaking tea leaves in hot water. So you get that leaf polyphenol. You get a lot more casein, plus you get the fiber from the leaf as well, and that nourishes your gut microbiome. And guess what your gut microbiome does? It lowers inflammation. It improves your metabolism. It improves your immune system. And so this is just the tip-off iceberg of the research that show green tea can help to address those hallmarks of aging. Ready for the next stone? Number 2 is broccoli and cruciferous greens. Now, I know probably when you were a kid, you rolled your eyes when your mom talked about broccoli for dinner. But I will tell you, that broccoli is actually a family of foods. Broccoli, broccolini, broccoli rub, almond, cruciferous greens in general are a large family of foods that contain substances that help counter those hallmarks of aging. These powerful bioactive substances called isocyanates, ITCs. And these ITCs actually help to protect your cells, and they improve your metabolism to help burn down extra harmful visceral fat, and they also reduce inflammation as well. So little pro tip when it comes to cooking them. Now I would never eat broccoli or broccolini raw. I know that you know some people cut them up into salads. Booties sort my broccoli, and I like to saute it in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of garlic, and maybe some chili flakes. You combine all the polyphenols, and bioactives. From those simply will make your cookie delicious dish activate even more of your health defenses and even counter those hallmarks of aging more effectively. Now, by the way, when you cook vegetables and they taste really good, you want to chew them, right? Because you want to savor the flavor. It's important to chew the plants. And not just try to wolf down and swallow a veggies like you might have done when you were a kid. But I'll tell you, there's a secret to chewing. When you chew plants like broccoli, cruciferous vegetables, your teeth are breaking down the plant cell walls. Plants are made out of cells as well. When you chew them, you're breaking down those cell walls like stamping onto ashu box, and they collapse. And when they collapse, you know what your those plant cells release. They release an enzyme called myrazinase. And that enzyme, myrazinase, activates the ITCS, diethioci, cyanotend, releases all the active stuff that can help protect ourselves. So, chewing gitsolf actually is beneficial in terms of countering inflammation and improving our overall health defenses to counter those hallmarks of aging. So make sure you cook your vegetables in ways that you actually enjoy. Alright, food number 3. Spinach. Speaking of greens, one of my favorites is spinach, and spinach grows low to the ground. It's a good source of natural nitrotestate come from the soil. And when you chew spinach, we're talking about chewing our food. What happens? Something amazing. When you're chewing your spinach, the healthy bacteria on your tongue actually interact with these nitrates. And the tongue bacteria, the microbiome on your tongue, converts those nitrates into compound. When you swallow that bite, it's absorbed into your bloodstream as nitric oxide, N. What's nitric oxide? Well, nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that does a lot of things in the body. But one of the things I want to point out is it helps to improve your circulation. You get better blood flow, which is really important as we get older to be able to really bathe our organs, including our brain, our heart, our muscles, in plenty of oxygen and micronutrients. Now these blood vessels that are delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell in the body are really important for reaching a really extreme age. In fact, studies of centenarians, these are people who haven't made it to 100 or older, show that those who get into that position, those lucky people, you know what, they actually have healthier blood vessels than people don't make it that. And that's been established with research that dosimethyl